What's up, Bears Nation? Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, your home for the latest breaking news, insider updates, and deep analysis on everything Chicago Bears. I'm here every single day bringing you the most important stories about our beloved team. And today I've got something that's been on everyone's mind this past week. The trade deadline just passed, and let me tell you, the conversation around our pass rush has been absolutely electric. Ryan Poles had some decisions to make, and the direction he chose might surprise some of you. Stay with me, because we're going to break down exactly what happened, what it means for our playoff push, and why this could be a defining moment for our season. So here's where we were just a few days ago. Week 9 against the Bengals, we lose Dayo Odeyingbo to a season-ending Achilles injury. Devastating news for a guy who was starting to find his rhythm in our defensive rotation. Suddenly, we're thin at edge rusher, and the trade deadline is staring us right in the face. The timing couldn't have been more critical because we're sitting at 5-3. We've got real playoff aspirations, and our defense needs all the firepower it can get to make a legitimate postseason run. This isn't a rebuilding year anymore, folks. Ben Johnson made it crystal clear when he took this job that he has zero interest in a slow build. He wants to win now, and that means our front office needed to act. Now, when you start talking about available edge rushers at the deadline, one name kept popping up everywhere. Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals. This guy is an absolute monster, a proven pass rusher who's been terrorizing quarterbacks for years. On November 2nd, Dan Graziano from ESPN directly connected the Bears to Hendrickson, and honestly, it made perfect sense on paper. We need help on the edge. Hendrickson is elite at what he does, and Ryan Poles has shown he's not afraid to be aggressive at the deadline. The fit seemed almost too good to be true, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. Here's the reality of the Hendrickson situation. Cincinnati was asking for a first-round pick. Let me repeat that. A first-round pick for a player who's over 30 years old with a projected market value of $133 million. Now, I understand the appeal. Hendrickson is elite, no question about it. But you've got to think long-term here. This would have been a 2-month rental because he's not signed beyond this season. Are we really going to mortgage a first-round pick, which could be a cornerstone piece for Caleb Williams' future, for 8 games of production? That's a massive gamble, especially when you consider we're building something sustainable here with our rookie quarterback. Graziano himself acknowledged this dilemma when he wrote about the potential connection. He said Chicago should at least ask if Hendrickson becomes available, but he also pointed out the complications. We might have the feel of a rebuilding team long-term with Williams in his second season and Johnson in his first year as head coach. But here's what I love about our current situation. The standings say what they say. We're 5-3. We're in the hunt. Johnson has made it abundantly clear he's not interested in taking the slow route, and Poles has a track record of being active at the deadline. So, what actually happened? On Tuesday, Jay Glazer from Fox Sports basically threw cold water on all the speculation about splashy moves. A fan asked him directly on social media if the Bears would be active at the deadline, and Glazer responded with something really interesting. He said, yes, Chicago would be active, but that doesn't mean it's going to land a big-name player. He explained there just aren't those level of players being shopped unless teams get a huge haul in return, and for some guys, their deals are up after this year, which complicates things even more. Glazer specifically said he didn't see anything splashy happening for the Bears, and you know what? He was right about the splashy part, but Poles still made a move. Later that same day, Adam Schefter dropped the news. The Browns are sending defensive end Joe Tryon and a 7th-round pick to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Joe Tryon isn't Trey Hendrickson. You're absolutely right. But let me explain why this move makes a ton of sense for where we are right now. Tryon was a first-round pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2021. Things didn't work out in Tampa, which happens sometimes with young players. He's now 26 years old, which means he's entering his prime years as a defensive lineman. During his time with the Bucs, he put up 15 sacks, which shows he has legitimate pass rush ability when given the opportunity. This past offseason, he signed a one-year deal with Cleveland worth $4.75 million, clearly trying to rebuild his value. Here's where it gets interesting for us. Tryon has appeared in all 8 games for the Browns this season, but he's only played 31 defensive snaps total. That's barely any playing time at all. Cleveland wasn't using him, which means we're getting a first-round talent who's hungry to prove himself, and we're giving up basically nothing to get him. We move down 1 round in the late draft picks, and we get an extra 7th rounder in the deal. That's textbook Ryan Poles right there. He didn't overpay for a rental. He didn't mortgage our future, but he addressed a need with a calculated risk that has a real upside. Schefter specifically mentioned in his report that Chicago lost Odeyingbo to a season-ending Achilles injury on Sunday and traded for a potential replacement just 2 days later. That's the kind of quick, decisive action you want from your general manager. We identified a hole in our roster, we found a solution that doesn't break the bank, and we got it done before the deadline closed. Now let's talk about what this means for our playoff push. We're 5-3 heading into the second half of the season. That's a winning record, folks. We haven't had sustained success like this in years, and it's happening because all the pieces are starting to come together. Caleb Williams is progressing beautifully under Ben Johnson's system. In Week 9 against the Bengals, we saw breakout performances from rookie tight end Colston Loveland and rookie running back Kyle Monangai. These young guys are developing right before our eyes, and that's exactly what you want to see in a season where you're trying to establish an identity. Our schedule sets up nicely, too. Next week, we've got the New York Giants, and as of Tuesday, we're favored by 3.5 points according to ESPN BT. That's a winnable game, and if we take care of business, we're looking at 6-3 heading into the toughest stretch of our season. This is where depth matters. This is where having guys like Tryon ready to contribute can make the difference between winning close games and falling short. I want to be clear about something. Joe Tryon is not going to single-handedly transform our pass rush overnight. But what he does give us is options. He gives us fresh legs. He gives us a guy with a first-round pedigree who has something to prove and will get significantly more playing time here than he was getting in Cleveland. Sometimes that's all a player needs to unlock their potential. A change of scenery, a new coaching staff that believes in them, and an opportunity to actually get on the field and make plays. The beauty of this move is that it doesn't prevent us from making bigger splashes in the offseason. We kept our draft capital intact. We didn't commit long-term money to an aging veteran. We stayed flexible while addressing an immediate need. That's smart roster management, and it's exactly the kind of move that championship organizations make. You don't panic and overpay just because you have a need. You find value where others don't see it, and you trust your coaching staff to develop that talent. So where do we go from here? We've got 8 games left in the regular season. We're in the thick of the playoff race. Our rookie quarterback is getting better every single week. Our defense has the pieces to be dominant if everyone stays healthy and plays to their potential. And now we've added another edge rusher who's going to get his shot to prove he belongs in this league. This is an exciting time to be a Bears fan. We're not just hoping for the future anymore. We're competing right now. We're making moves to win games this season. And with the way Caleb Williams is developing, with the leadership Ben Johnson is providing, and with Ryan Poles making smart, calculated decisions, we're building something special here in Chicago. So, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Bears made the right call by not giving up a first-rounder for Hendrickson? Are you excited about what Joe Tryon can bring to this defense? What are your expectations for the second half of the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I read every single one and I love hearing what Bears Nation is thinking. And if you want to stay locked in on every move the Bears make, every update on Caleb Williams' development, and every piece of breaking news as it happens, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're here every single day, bringing you the content you need to stay ahead of the game. Give this video a thumbs up if you're excited about where this team is headed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bear, down!